Lesson 49. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It is quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. The part of your mind in which truth abides is in constant communication with God, whether you are aware of it or not. It is the other part of your mind that functions in the world and obeys the world's laws. It is this part that is constantly distracted, disorganized, and highly uncertain. The part that is listening to the voice for God is calm, always at rest, and wholly certain. It is really the only part there is. The other part is a wild illusion, frantic and distraught, but without reality of any kind. Try today not to listen to it. Try to identify with the part of your mind where stillness and peace reign forever. Try to hear God's voice call to you lovingly, reminding you that your Creator has not forgotten His Son. We will need at least 4 5-minute practice periods today, and more if possible. We will try actually to hear God's voice reminding you of Him and of yourself. We will approach this happiest and holiest of thoughts with confidence, knowing that in doing so, we are joining our will with the will of God. He wants you to hear His voice. He gave it to you to be heard. Listen in deep silence. Be very still and open your mind. Go past all the raucous shrieks and sick imaginings that cover your real thoughts and obscure your eternal link with God. Sink deep into the peace that waits for you beyond the frantic, riotous thoughts and sights and sounds of this insane world. You do not live here. We are trying to reach your real home. We are trying to reach the place where you are truly welcome. We are trying to reach God. Do not forget to repeat today's idea very frequently. Do so with your eyes open when necessary, but closed when possible. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. And be sure to sit quietly and repeat the idea for today whenever you can, closing your eyes on the world and realizing that you are inviting God's voice to speak to you.
try to relax your thinking mind. Just to let go for a little while. It is but the first few steps along the right way that seem hard. For you have chosen, although you still may think you can go back and make the other choice. This is not so. A choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. Your way is decided. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this. A choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. Your way is decided. There will be nothing that you will not be told if you acknowledge this. I have said you have but two emotions, love and fear. One is changeless, but continually exchanged, being offered by the eternal to the eternal. In this exchange, it is extended, for it increases as it is given. The other has many forms, for the content of individual illusions differs greatly. Yet they have one thing in common: they are all insane. They are made of sights that are not seen, and sounds that are not heard. They make up a private world that cannot be shared, for they are meaningful only to their maker, and so they have no meaning at all. In this world, their maker moves alone, for only he perceives them. Each one peoples his world with figures from his individual past. Each one peoples his world with figures from his individual past. And it is because of this that private worlds do differ. Yet the figures that he sees were never real, for they are made up only of his reactions to his brothers and don't include their reactions to him. The figures that he sees were never real, for they are made up only of his reactions to his brothers and do not include their reactions to him. Therefore he does not see he made them, and that they are not whole. For these figures have no witnesses, being perceived in one separate mind only. It is through these strange and shadowy figures that the insane relate to their insane world. For they see only those who remind them of these images, and it is to them that they relate. Thus do they communicate with those who are not there, and it is they who answer them, and no one hears their answer save him who called upon them, and he alone believes that they answered him. Projection makes perception, and you cannot see beyond it. Again and again have you attacked your brother, because you saw in him a shadow figure in your private world. And thus it is you must attack yourself first, for what you attack is not in others. Its only reality is in your own mind, and by attacking others, you're literally attacking what is not there. The delusional can be very destructive, for they don't recognize that they have condemned themselves. They do not wish to die, yet they will not let condemnation go, and so they separate into their private worlds, where everything is disordered, and where what is within appears to be without. Yet what is within they do not see, for the reality of their brothers they cannot recognize. You have but two emotions, yet in your private world you react to each of them as though it were the other. For love cannot abide in a world apart, where when it comes it is not recognized. Everyone draws nigh unto what he loves and recoils from what he fears. And you react with fear to love and draw away from it. Yet fear attracts you, and believing it is love, you call it to yourself. Your private world is filled with figures of fear you have invited into it, and all the love your brothers offer you, you do not see. As you look with open eyes upon your world, it must occur to you that you have withdrawn into insanity. You see what is not there, and you hear what makes no sound. Your manifestations of emotions are the opposite of what the emotions are. You communicate with no one, and you are isolated from reality, as if you were alone in all the universe. In your madness, you overlook reality completely, and you see only your own split mind everywhere you look. God calls you, and you do not hear, for you are preoccupied with your own voice. And the vision of Christ is not in your sight, for you look upon yourself alone. Little child, would you offer this to your Father? For if you offer it to yourself, you are offering it to Him, and He will not return it, for it is unworthy of you, because it is unworthy of Him. Yet He would release you from it and set you free. His sane answer tells you what you have offered yourself is not true, but His offering to you has never changed. You who know not what you do can learn what insanity is and look beyond it. It is given you to learn how to deny insanity and come forth from your private world in peace. You will see all that you denied in your brothers because you denied it in yourself. You will see all that you denied in your brothers because you denied it in yourself. For you will love them, and by drawing nigh unto them, you will draw them to yourself, perceiving them as witnesses to the reality you share with God. I am with them as I am with you, and we will draw them from their private worlds, for as we are united, so would we unite with them. The Father welcomes all of us in gladness, and gladness is what we should offer Him. Vision depends on light. You cannot see in darkness. Yet in darkness in the private world of sleep, you see in dreams, although your eyes are closed. And it is here that what you see you made. But let the darkness go, and all you made will go away too. You will no longer see that. For sight of it depends upon denying vision. Yet from denying vision, it does not follow you cannot see. But this is what denial does, for by it you accept insanity, believing you can make a private world and rule your own perception. Yet for this, light must be excluded. Dreams disappear when light has come, and you can see. Do not seek vision through your eyes, for you made your way of seeing that you might see in darkness, and in this you are deceived. Beyond this darkness, and yet still within you, is the vision of Christ, who looks on all in light. Your, quote, vision comes from fear, and his from love. And he sees for you as your witness to the real world. He is the Holy Spirit's manifestation, looking always on the real world and calling forth its witnesses and drawing them to you. He loves what he sees within you, and he would extend it. He loves what he sees within you, and he would extend it. And he will not return unto the Father until he has extended your perception even unto him. And there perception is no more, for he has returned you to the Father with him. You have but two emotions, and one you made, and the other one was given you. Each is a way of seeing, and different worlds arise from their different sides. These two emotions, love and fear, one was made by you and one was given you, and each is a way of seeing, and different worlds arise from their different sides. So a beautiful and simple way of practicing doing mind training is to check in pretty much constantly if there is love or fear in awareness. And if there is any fear or any scraps of fear, we can be sure that we are wrong about our perception. We can go within, ask for help. So it is very strong, very clear, this teaching that through insanity we perceive what is not there, and we have made an individual world that is not shared. The way we see each and every one comes from an individual false perception. No one else shares it. He says there, you react to each figure you have made, and what you perceive does not include their reactions to you. It's all about your reactions to them, and that's where the power lies, to shift the mind. When the ego says they react to you, they think this and that about you, be sure you're wrong. It's your own projection that you can work with. Because otherwise you assume stuff about others. The word assume is a bad word because it says it makes an ass of you and me, as you and me. You can remember that, because when we assume that we're right about our perception, we attack. We don't see the Christ. We use our world, we use our projections for the ego to get something, which is very meaningless. It means nothing. That's why in stillness we can wash all this and start to perceive clearly. That's what we want. There is a deep hunger for it, but there is like a layer of fear on top. This is what we can gently work with, this layer of fear that is on top. We can look at how it manifests. We can pray that it be lifted. Like it said here, we give its perceptions to the Holy Spirit, that they can be transformed. The figures he sees were never real. Each one peoples his world with figures from his individual past.
What section is that?
The two emotions.
Two emotions.
Chapter 13, part 5.
The beginning.
Yeah, I think I read from the beginning. Yeah.
When you start reading, it was this one.
Yeah, well, I've also read
Branching of the road.
the branching of the road from chapter 20 to part 4, right? But he says it's but the first few steps along the right way that seem hard. For you have chosen, although you still may think you can go back and make the other choice, this is not so. Choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. Your way is decided. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it stood out to me in 3D last night. This line that your way is decided. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this. So yeah, this is why we need mind training, because of this insanity, the insane mind, the individual mind that made up the world. Like there is no world without the separate mind. There will be the real world. There will be the true perception. He says for a very short while, till God takes the last step. But that's a happy dream. There is no separation. There is no isolation in that experience. There is no attempt at interacting with dream figures in that perception. No one is a dream figure anymore. You see yourself clearly and openly. That's why we badly need mind training. Give ourselves to it, and that's also I wanted to share with all of you. We really encourage you to do the lesson, to follow the instruction, because like today, for example, we're told to do this, I think, 4 times, at least 4 times, 4 5-minute practice periods, and more if possible. I like that. He says you can do it anytime you can. Do this lesson. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. It can be helpful to decide 4 times to sit down for 5 minutes or more if possible, and do the lesson today. Some of us even have reminders on the phone, like a little app that you can set up to remind you in certain intervals. So what's the moving? Do you have any thoughts about this sharing? Makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah. It's impressive how it describes my mind. Yeah. It's exactly what's going on. Yeah.
It's pretty good at describing what's going on. It's good that you're here. Did you like the movie?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, I say confrontational. Confronting. Yeah.
Tell me more.
I don't know. It's hard to analyze, but
The movie felt confronting. The movie felt,
yeah, it's the ego. Everything does everything to compress you
yeah,
and keeps you away from the light, and it's so stubborn.
yeah,
But once he sees the light, he's not willing to let go of it, and he wants to discover it. But then again, the ego tries to withhold him from that with all his power.
yeah.
At the end, he succeeds. Does he succeed?
Yeah, he realizes it's life or death, really.
Yeah.
You know, and he has to be so vigilant to not fall into the trap or get stuck.
Mm.
And the movie shows so clearly, because the only trap there is this future dream. Like they make them believe that there is a paradise. They kill them. It's death. You make them believe paradise is in the future. I used to think like about Christianity, that where they say that you will come to heaven when you die. You know? I used to believe that for a long time. But the Course really taught me different. It can't be future salvation. You know? Only if we use time for present peace. Time is gentle in the right perception. Well, we still believe in time. Okay, we can allow a gentle perception of it, but it's deception to think that salvation can be in the future or especially after we die. Kingdom of heaven is at hand. Kingdom of heaven is within. It's a state of mind. It's no other place. He says it's not a state or a condition.
The awareness of perfect oneness.
Yeah. So this is a big invitation to constantly watch the mind. It's a full-time job. You felt comfort in that first piece I read. Your way is decided. Yeah. You can't but be at the right place at the right time. You can have this prayer of going beyond illusion. Questioning the isolation and the separation. By facing all our fears, all the blocks. Okay. Yeah. Pray a little bit about the times you want to do the lesson today. 4 times. And put up reminders or remember it and adhere to it, because the ego will want to change the time usually when it comes to the time. So, yeah.
If you're really feeling sparked, you could do 6 times today, because he said more, you know. So
Yeah.
it feels joyful and helpful.
And when you read it, I heard, do it whenever you can. Okay, that's an interesting, you know. Yeah. It's a good one. Okay, lovely.
Thank you.
Yeah.